Hey there, folks. It's your old pal Tom here on the Tom Gulley Show. Happy to tell you about the legendary TV series All in the Family today. Ought to be an eye-opener. A lot of details about the show. Most people don't know, but I will tell you all about them. And if you don't think I'm going to, you can stifle yourself here. At any rate, you know, I do occasionally get invitations to appear on other programs, if you will. And typically, what happens is they invite me on and stuff, and I go on and charm and beguile their audiences with facts and observations. And just a couple of nights ago, I was beckoned on to a program, that was on and stuff, and I was not forced, but I might have been a little too, what's the word, brutally honest with the host of the program. And in that spirit, our musical director, Leon Kennedy, has written a song about that. Unfortunately, the song isn't, while brilliant, and I love it, probably not a great song for the opening of the show. So for those of you listening, audio podcast, we're doing our cold open here, so you don't arrive and hear a bunch of music right off the top. And you know it's a podcast. You can hear me. I'm talking. It's a podcast. I will play that song at the very end of the program, however. And hopefully a lot of people enjoy it. Meanwhile, I've got two others, one of which contains the names of many of the people in our chat room. So that's a reason to be in it, because you could very well hear your name in this song. As one of the members of our chat room right now undoubtedly will. We'll be back in about 6 to 7 minutes. If you're listening in audio podcast form and you don't want to sit through brilliant toe-tapping songs, just fast forward. We'll see you on the other side. Okay?
Tom steps in shining, lifting spirits in the room. The wolf's already laughing with that friendly boom. Chef's in the kitchen, keeping everybody fed. Scott from Australia nods his bearded head. Rumpled trench coat enters with a mystery to unfold. Tom brings the warmth, turning every moment gold. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. When the world feels unsteady, Tom will get you ready. Once you go gully, you'll never recover fully. Tom puts on the show, let the good times roll. The wolf keeps up grooving with that easy midnight sway. Chef spins a ladle like when leading cabaret. Scott from Australia brings the thunder to the floor. Rumpled trench coat squints like he's seen this all before. Tom hits the rhythm and the whole room starts to move. Every single heartbeat falling deeper in the groove. Once you go gully, lights turn low. Tom keeps the moment bright, lifting every spirit as they dance into the night. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. When the world feels unsteady, Tom will get you ready. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. Tom puts on a show, let the good times roll. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. When the world feels unsteady, Tom will get you ready. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. Tom puts on a show, let the good times roll. Snow is falling soft tonight, windows glowing warm and bright, but Christmas doesn't feel the same till I hear that golden name. Tom Gulley on the radio, spinning tunes that steal the show. It's a very gully Christmas, every heart begins to shine. Even spiders start to shimmer in their webs like silver lines. Yeah, very gully Christmas. Hear that rhythm, sweet and good. Sweet and good. Bigfoot's listening from the treetops, grooving deep within the wood. Frost is dancing on the pane, candles flicker in the lane, spiders sway with all 8 feet, keeping to that perfect beat, and Bigfoot hums that mellow tune underneath the winter moon. It's a very gully Christmas, where the joy just rolls along. Spiders tapping in the
Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking? Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Preceding the holidays, we've been just cranking out shows like crazy, and, you know, attendance is down. People are off doing holiday things, and, you know, chestnuts are roasting on open fires, and Jack Frost is nipping at people's nose. Not here in Dallas, of course. It's going to be 70 all week. Nearing 80 a couple of times. But be that as it may, tonight, let me tell you about All in the Family, a show that totally revolutionized television on a number of fronts. And, you know, had the late, great Rob Reiner as one of its stars. Before we get going too fast, too far, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things you can do to help out our little show here against the algorithm, the almighty algorithm. Also, we have super chats, we have memberships. You can gift memberships to people. We have the PayPal. It's in our YouTube description. That's where you PayPal me. You give the most, I get the most. Google doesn't get any of it. We also have our website, thetomgullyshow.com. There's merchandise there. And we have hundreds of podcasts, audio podcasts, both at our Podbean site and on our website. So with all that in mind, we do have people in our chat room. The chef is here. You heard him mentioned in the song at the beginning of the show. Terry Nee is calling me Meathead. Dead from the neck up. Meathead. Meathead. Let's see. No Terry Nee in the song? I didn't write the song. You know, Terry. I think we're talking about, it's just talks about an entire Terry Nee song. I wouldn't hold my breath. I have nothing to do with the creation of the songs. One man does that. He's a genius. And so when you got a genius, you get what you get. And then you're happy. If you try to mess with the genius, you know, did you ever hear the story about the goose that laid the golden egg? And then the one guy tried to cut the goose open to get all the golden egg. That's not how it works. Oh my gosh, Team Brittany is here. So good to see her. So happy to see her. And, you know, happy holidays to Team Brittany. She is awesome. People saying hi in our chat room. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, is verified by independent sources. And the man himself, Leon Kennedy, has just entered the room. So he's our musical director. He just did a new one based on my appearance on another show this weekend, well, earlier in the week, where I might have been a little too brutally honest with the host and made them look foolish. And we're playing that at the end of the show, so stay tuned to the very end, and you will hear it. It is awesome. And most of our songs are kind of R&B, soul, Motown. That may change, because our show, like my musical taste, is vast in its subjects and its topics and stuff. One of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie, is Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. And that like spans the history of music, so it's all over the board. I love being all over the board, but that's up to him. That's his thing. So he says, H2BH, happy to be here. Team Brittany says, I know one fact about this show. Rob Reiner's character was often Meathead from his father-in-law. That's it. Oh, my gosh. Well, we'll get into it, Team Brittany. That show kind of was a reflection of American culture at the time, but it also redefined TV. I'll just drop a little hint, a little pretext before I get through some of your comments. The very first sound of a toilet flushing on American television was on All in the Family, I believe. Terry Nee says, the Gulley catalog. Yes, well, in the description of our YouTube program, there's a link to all of the songs that Leon Kennedy has created for the show. And you can get them all if you want to. Leon Kennedy says, I don't even include myself in the songs, Terry. Terry says, just kidding. Team Brittany says, Terry Nee, I'll write a song for you. There you go. Terry Nee says, Tom is a Bieber and a Swiftie. So diverse. I'm not a Bieber. I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie. I like one of her songs. One. I just haven't heard that many. I am a Katy Perry fan, though. That's what you're thinking of, Terry. Team Brittany says, I'm guessing it is one of those not allowed anymore programs. And she's laughing. And it's like, well, I think it would be very difficult to get this program on the air in this day and age. Not that I think it shouldn't be on the air in this day and age, because, and we'll get into all of that. I mean, we really will. I accidentally almost opened something up, and I have forced quit that thing, and it is not forced quitting. Oh, come on. I don't want to have the little force quit. There we go. There, that's what we want to do. I forgot what I was saying now because I did something stupid. I'll get into it a little later. But there's reasons why at the time it was even controversial. But there's reason why I think you could have it on today and get away with it. Anyway, All in the Family. All in the Family. Let me give you something to look at here rather than my face. All in the Family. There they are. American situation comedy TV series. It was on CBS for 9 seasons. From January of 71 to April of 79. 205 episodes. It was later produced as Archie Bunker's Place, a continuation series that picked up where All in the Family left off and ran for 4 seasons more, so probably a total of 13 seasons into 1983. Now, here's the deal on that. The reason they had to change the name and call it Archie Bunker's Place, is very, very simple. That original series became so popular that Sally Struthers, actually the last surviving member of the original cast, on the left, upper left there, and Rob Reiner, they went off to do other things. And then at the end, Jean Stapleton, lower right, she was fearful that she would be typecast in roles that made her play a quote-unquote dingbat. And so she left as well. So now it's just Archie and the additional characters that had kind of been on the periphery that were added throughout the season. And you really couldn't call it All in the Family anymore because there wasn't any more family. But it was based on a British sitcom called Till Death Do Us Part. It was produced by the legendary team of Norman Lear, and we'll get into some of his other creations in a second, and Bud Yorkin. It starred Carol O'Connor as Archie Bunker. Here he is. Just an iconic TV character. Jean Stapleton played Edith. There she is. Sally Struthers and Rob Reiner. You can see them there in the photo. We all know who Rob Reiner is, and that's him when he still had hair. And Sally Struthers, who went on to, what was it, Feed the Children or something was her charity, and many other things. The show is about a working class dude and his family. And it was groundbreaking because of the fact it was a comedy. It wasn't a police show or any other kind of drama that head on addressed, discussed, or was immersed in racism, anti-Semitism, marital infidelity, homosexuality, women's lib, grape, religion, miscarriage, breast cancer, the Vietnam War, menopause, divorce, anything that was controversial, All in the Family talked about it. And it became arguably one of American television's most influential comedies. It did something no other sitcoms had done before, really, at least not to this extent. It injected dramatic moments, realistic topics into, a comedic backdrop. Frequently ranked as one of the best American television series of all time, became the most watched show. Now get this, became the most watched show in the United States during summer reruns of the first season. The first season, it was not super highly ranked during its original run, but during those summer reruns, it went through the roof. And it did something else that no other television series has ever done. After that summer rerun period, it became the number one TV show on American television. And it didn't do it once. 1971, 1972, 1973, 1974, and 1975. Unheard of. 5 straight years, the number one show on television. Unthinkable. Several of its episodes are in TV Guide's 100 greatest episodes of all time and the greatest shows of all time. Bravo, as a matter of fact, named Archie Bunker TV's greatest character of all time, right? So as we mentioned, Archie Bunker, outspoken, narrow-minded, seemingly prejudiced against everybody who's not like him or that doesn't agree with him, all right? Then, of course, Edith is very sweet, understanding. She can appear sometimes naive or undereducated. Archie treats her dismissively and calls her a dingbat. Their only child. Their one and only child. Yes, Gloria down there. Little Goyle. Let me tell you something, little Goyle. She's kind, good-natured, like her mom, but she's got her dad's stubbornness and temper, and she is a feminist. And she's married to a college student, later graduate student, then college professor, Michael Stivic, often criticized for his Polish heritage, and he's referred to as Meathead, obviously, as you've all pointed out by Archie. And he's very, very liberal, very much counterculture of the 60s. And so there's this clash between the greatest generation and baby boomers. And for much of the series, the Stivics live in the Bunker's home to save money. And so there's just clashing of people of all times. The show is in the Astoria section of Queens. That's where it's set. And the vast majority, they rarely went out of the home here, which is at 704 Hauser Street, which I don't think is an actual address. Occasionally a scene will be at Kelsey's Bar, or a funeral or something like that, but not very often. Now, there are some supporting characters that represent the changing demographics of the neighborhood, especially, and we'll get into all the spin-off shows, all right, but especially these people here, the Jeffersons. They move in to the Bunker's neighborhood, and then later on, they were moving on up to the east side for a deluxe apartment in the sky after George Jefferson there makes a fortune through his dry cleaning business. And then the Jeffersons rented their home to Gloria and Mike when they had their first child. We'll get into the other spinoffs in just a little while. There were many spin-offs of All in the Family. That's how powerful it was. And some people argue that The Jeffersons was more successful than All in the Family because their show is also extremely popular, very popular show. Let's get to some of our chat comments here. Team Brittany says, okay, Tom, become a Swiftie or else. You can't do it just by listening to her Tim McGraw song. Oh, wait, yes, you can. Watch the Disney Plus Eras documentary. That's your homework. Well, here's the thing, Tim Brittany. My Taylor Swift song that I listen to is Shake It Off. And that's because a play has got to play. And the hater's going to, yeah. So in other words, like our world is today for the most part. Now I'm going to look for old episodes. Oh, I'll get into some of the episodes. This show had just absolutely shattering episodes. There were moments you laughed so hard during this show, you almost cried. And there's an All in the Family YouTube channel and some compilations and things of that nature. But we'll get into some of the episodes that they were extremely dramatic. It was crazy how dramatic they were. And I highly recommend watching old episodes of All in the Family. Highly recommend it. Archie Bunker, frequently called a lovable bigot. And yes, he was a bigot, but he was to be laughed at, not laughed with. And although he was very narrow-minded on a lot of subjects, in a broad sense, in his home, where all of these subjects and topics were at arm's length from him, really, on many, many, many occasions, when he met actual people, and he might have arguments with the Jeffersons, but when it really push came to shove, he did have some humanity, I remember one episode where he was dead set against someone staying in his house for a certain reason, but when he found out they had no other place to go, he very tenderly said, you've always got a place to stay here. So that's Archie. He was a World War II veteran, and Archie wants the old days. He wants to go back to a better time, And he's not talking about the 50s. He's talking about before that. He wants things like they were, the opening theme song of the show. Those were the days. If you've never seen the show, it opens up with Archie and Edith at the piano, and they sing a song called Those Were the Days. And you knew when you were there, girls were girls and men were men. Mister, we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again. Didn't need no welfare state. Everybody pulled his weight. And Edith singing in it is just comically hilarious. By the way, the line is, gee, our old LaSalle ran great. For many years, people didn't know what that last line was because she sang it a certain way. But anyway, despite his bigotry, he is portrayed as loving and decent, and as well as a man who is struggling mightily to adapt to the world that's changing around him. His ignorance and stubbornness, he's got all these malpropisms and these just absolutely bizarre, just theories on stuff that are just so weird that they're comical. Mickey Rooney was actually the first choice to play Archie Bunker. And Mickey Rooney didn't think it had a chance of success. Jean Stapleton, of course, playing Edith. She's ditzy, but she's very kind-hearted. And she's a trad wife. Archie never made a sandwich. Archie never cleaned anything. He got home, she got him his paper, she got him his beer. She generally defers to her husband's authority, and the insults seem to go right over her head. On the rare occasion when Edith takes a stand, she's got like this simple, profound wisdom about her that's inescapable. And despite how different they are, they really loved each other. Jean Stapleton, who played Edith, developed her sort of high-pitched, distinctive voice. And, she was in Archie Bunker's place in 5 of the first 14 episodes, and then she is written out as having had a stroke and died. But you never see that. It happens off screen, and that is one of the most emotional episodes you'll ever see, because Archie can't really deal with it that well. He felt like he should have been the first one to go with, the way he drinks, and he's not in the greatest of shape, but she appeared in all but 4 episodes of All in the Family. And, just a brilliant portrayal. Many Emmy Awards for her. We'll get into that later. Sally Struthers played Gloria Stivic. She's college age. She's, as I mentioned, got her mom's kindness, but her dad's stubbornness. And she is the mediator between Archie and Meathead, right? Yeah. During the pilot episode, the 2 actors that played Gloria and Mike, the network hated them. In fact, they ordered a second pilot. And so the recasting had Rob Reiner and Sally Struthers. Penny Marshall, who Rob Reiner was married to, shortly after the show began, was considered for the role of Gloria, but she didn't get it. Yeah. And during the early seasons, Sally Struthers did not like how static her part was. She didn't feel like she got really very much to do. She tried to sue to get out of her contract in 1974 when the show was ranked number 1. But they developed her character a little bit, and she was happy, and everything was cool. She was in 157 of the 202 episodes during the first 8 seasons, and she had a spin-off series called Gloria. It did not do well, lasted 1 season. The legendary late, great Rob Reiner was Michael Meathead Stivic. Polish-American hippie husband, good-hearted and well-meaning. He just takes the bait all the time with Archie, and he's equally as stubborn as Archie is, but his moral views are generally presented as more ethical. His logic is sounder. He's more knowledgeable, most educated person in the household, which gives him kind of an arrogance. And so you root for Archie once in a while. And despite his intellectual belief in progressive social values, he tends to expect Gloria to defer to him as her husband. Richard Dreyfuss wanted to play Mike, but Norman Lear said, no, I think Rob Reiner's the guy for this. Harrison Ford turned down the role as Mike Stivic, citing Archie's bigotry. And Rob Reiner appeared in 174 of the 202 episodes of this series during those first 8 seasons. And he also wrote episodes of All in the Family. What do you think about that? What do we got in our chat room right now? Let's see here. Leon Kennedy says, is that going to be my next song? Those Were the Days, featuring Tom Gulley. Lovable bigot, kind of like Scott from Australia. There is some continuity there, Leon. Chef says, I couldn't watch that episode. When Edith died, yeah, it was tough. And you can see Archie's reaction to that on YouTube. It's there's a famous episode where Archie, and this is from Archie Bunker's place, where Archie and Mike get locked overnight in like a storage room at the bar, and they really have this heart-to-heart. Let's see. Nobody is here, says good evening. Good evening to you. Leon Kennedy, to your point, the the opening song of All in the Family, Those Were the Days, is iconic. It's, Edith's, I heard she reaches this high pitched thing she does, and everybody just laughs because it's comically bad. But what people do not remember as much is the ending song of All in the Family. It's a piano tune. And when I hear that, I get very, very nostalgic. It's a bittersweet feeling because I remember watching those shows. I was just talking about it with my father Saturday morning about watching it every single night. And a lot of people remember it being a certain night of the week. It was never like a show that had one night of the week, and it still remained number one. I'll tell you about that in a little while too. But the ending song is called Remembering You, and it did not have words. Carol O'Connor approached the writer of the music and asked his permission to write lyrics to the ending. And you can see, I think it's on Carol Burnett or something, Carol O'Connor, who's just a vastly accomplished stage performer as well, he sings the song that he wrote to that music. So, yeah, it's a show that has one foot in the past a little bit. There's a girl that's introduced to the series, Danielle Brisebois, as Stephanie Mills, is a 9-year-old daughter of Edith's cousin Floyd. And he kind of abandons her. And she's a regular throughout the 9th season. In addition to be thought of as cute and having a sweet side, she's smart and she is clever. And she is a little kid that will give Archie some heat. The Bunkers take her in after her father abandons her on their doorstep in 1978. And by the way, the scene where she's abandoned, she stays with the Bunkers. The Bunkers are like, what are we supposed to do with her? She runs away to the bus stop. She doesn't have any money. And Archie finally finds her and says, what are you doing here? Why are you staying here? And she says, because if I stay here long enough, they'll take me to the children's home. So she knows she's going to have to go back to that. And then Archie softens and says, you don't need to do that. What if we was to go over here and get some ice cream and go home? And then she extorts like a comic book and some other stuff out of him. And they take her in. The father that abandoned her, and this is all in the family now, later extorts money from the Bunkers to let them keep the girl, to keep Stephanie. And she stayed with the show through its transition to Archie Bunker's place and appeared in all 4 seasons of the, Archie Bunker's Place show. They've got supporting characters. I've already mentioned the Jeffersons, Now, Isabel Sanford playing Louise, and Mike Evans, their son Lionel. And Archie he's got his hands full with George Jefferson. He is the other side of the coin. He's, super liberal. He is very, very pro-black issues. And also, he's got a wicked tongue. So he and Archie go back and forth. Louise is a smarter, more assertive version of Edith. Lionel is hilarious because Lionel is like constantly agreeing with Archie just to put him on. And then at the very end of an agreement, he'll take it a step further and make Archie look stupid. George was mentioned a lot. Louise was really the one that was on All in the Family at first. She was in the very first episode, and she would mention her husband, George. Okay? But he didn't show up until like the 3rd season. They would always just talk about him. right? Yeah. Sherman Hemsley, the guy who played George Jefferson, was the first choice, but he was in this hugely successful Broadway musical, and he didn't want to leave it. So he kept the role waiting for him until he finished with the musical. That's why he never showed up. So plots of the show frequently had Archie and George at odds with each other, and Edith and Louise would try to break it up, basically. Anyway, Lionel was a college student, just like Mike. They were good friends. And he was an aspiring electrical engineer who did odd jobs around the neighborhood, including fixing the bunker's TV, which was super important. Super important. Yeah. Okay, now here's another of the side characters that went on to have their own series. B. Arthur as Edith's cousin Maud. White collar, ultra liberal, just the, oil to Archie's water, and one of his main antagonists. She appears in only 2 episodes, Cousin Maud's Visit, in which she takes care of the bunkers when all 4 of them are sick, and Maud from the show's 2nd season, which was like a thinly veiled pilot. Her own spin-off series, Maud, was extremely, extremely popular. Very popular. Another character that was on throughout the series was Alan Melvin here as Archie's neighbor and good friend Bonnie Hefner. First appeared in the 2nd season and became a recurring character. He appeared more and more and more often until he became a regular, and he was a regular on Archie Bunker's Place. I could go on and on. There's so many, recurring characters and side characters. James Cromwell, who you guys might remember as the evil detective in, what was it? L.A., doggone it. The Kim Basinger and Russell Crowe, L.A. Confidential, and many other things. He played Stretch Cunningham, who Artie thought was the funniest man in the world. He was Archie's friend and co-worker from the loading dock. He's known as the Bob Hope of the loading platform. What Archie did not know was that Stretch was Jewish. After Stretch dies, Archie goes to the funeral and is to give the eulogy, which Archie calls the urology. And he walks in and he's at Temple, So anyway, that's a famous, you can see that clip online too. That's another famous moment. Running through all these, there's Kelsey. Bob Hastings played Kelsey. Gloria Leroy played Mildred Boom Boom Turner, a buxom middle-aged secretary at the plant where Archie works. She first appears when Archie is lost on his way to a convention, and Mike and Gloria suspect that he and she could be having an affair, which is not true. She doesn't even like Archie, and she doesn't like Stretch either. Bernard Hughes played Father John Majeski, a local Catholic priest who was suspected by Archie one time of trying to convert Edith. The reason I mention him is the first time he showed up in the show was when Edith accidentally hit his car near the local supermarket with a can of cling peaches and heavy syrup, and her explanation of what happened will have you on the floor. It is so funny. So very, very, very funny. Let's just, why do I have Alan Melvin up here for so long? I'll just put these guys up one more time. Let's see here. Let's see if there's any other comments in our chat room real quickly. Team Brittany says, okay, this puzzle of spinoffs is coming together now. Did Mon end up as Golden Girls or no? No, the actress did. The character did not. Let's see. That's a sweet story. Reminds me of the storyline in This Is Us about taking in the teenage girl. There's a bunch of times where Archie is... This show could be just poignant in its drama and shocking in its drama. Edith is almost essayed in an episode where someone breaks into the house and she's by herself. And it is absolutely a riveting episode. Team Brittany says, I'm lost today and hope it's not all going to tie back to the little St. Elsewhere boy. Tommy Westfall? The Tommy Westfall universe? It could. Or is it it's the Timothy Westfall? Was it Tommy or I can't even remember now. It's both. Norman Lear said the idea for All in the Family came to him when he read an article in Variety magazine about the British sitcom Till Death Do Us Part. He said it was like a relationship between his father and himself. Sally Struthers says that's not true. She says the idea originated with Carol O'Connor, who played Archie, and wanted to produce an American version, but he couldn't get the backing as an actor alone, and so Norman Lear helped him. So Norman Lear brought the rights to the show and incorporated his own family experiences of his father into the show. And it went through quite a few machinations, frankly, on the way to getting produced. Lear's father apparently would tell his mother to stifle herself. That's where that came from. I mean, she would tell Lear's father, "You are the laziest white man I ever saw." Two Archieisms that made it into the show. The original pilot was titled Justice for All and was developed for ABC, not CBS. Tom Bosley, Richie Cunningham's dad, Mr. C, and Jack Warden, very well-known movie actor, and Jackie Gleason were all considered for the role of Archie Bunker. In fact, CBS wanted to buy the rights to the original show and retool it for Jackie Gleason, who at the time was under contract with them, but Norman Lear beat them all out for the rights and offered the show to ABC. Mickey Rooney was offered the role, and he said that character is un-American. Not realizing Archie is not to be celebrated necessarily. Not for his beliefs. His character sometimes can be celebrated, but his blowhardness and stuff, it's all a front, really, when it comes down. It's like real life. It's easy to dislike a group of people. It's hard to dislike an individual person. Harder, anyway. In the pilot, as I mentioned, Archie and Edith are played by the actors that played them in the series. The two actors that played Mike and Gloria didn't go over well. They gave money to shoot a second pilot with Rob Reiner and Sally Struthers, and that pilot was called Those Were the Days, from the song at the beginning. After station viewers and complaints caused ABC to cancel a show called Turn On. It was a sketch comedy series from the people that did Laugh-In. And they did that after only one episode. The network didn't necessarily want to air a show with a foul-mouthed, bigoted lead character, and they rejected the series. ABC said, we're out. And that was around the time Richard Dreyfuss wanted to be Michael. CBS was eager to update its image, and they were getting read. It was called the Rural Purge. I could do a whole show about the Rural Purge because CBS had all these like kind of wholesome country-based shows that were doing extremely well, by the way, and they got rid of all of them in one fell swoop. Just bam. Mayberry RFD, which was the Andy Griffith Show spinoff, the Beverly Hillbillies, Petticoat Junction, Green Acres, all of them gone. And they wanted more urban contemporary stuff. So by this point, Gleason's no longer under contract to CBS. By the way, his show, the Jackie Gleason Show, was one of the shows they got rid of. And then Norman Lear got to keep Carol O'Connor as the lead. So CBS buys the rights from ABC and they retitle it All in the Family. The pilot episode that CBS did had the actual cast and ended up being the series' first episode, called Meet the Bunkers. Norman Lear actually wanted to shoot this program in black and white because it's such an old school, CBS insisted on color. So Norman Lear had the set furnished in neutral tones and kept everything not very brightly colored in the series. And you'll see that if you watch episodes of it. And as you guys have heard me say, I actually got to touch and walk on and everything else, the set of All in the Family, which is located at Mercury Studios here in Dallas. I was there for some business reasons, and they showed me that set, and I just looked at the guy. Can I? He's like, yeah, everybody wants. So I did it. Now, one of the things that wasn't there and can't be there is this: Archie and Edith's chairs, which were front and center on the set during the show's run. And that's because, as you can see, they are encased in glass, and they are at the Smithsonian Institution. Those are the actual chairs from the series. As you can see, Archie has what he called his chair that no one else could sit in. Occasionally, if Archie really liked somebody, he would give them his chair. He would let him sit in his chair. Very, very rarely. And woe be to those who sat in Archie's chair without knowing. Because he had no problems telling him, yeah, you're in my chair there. He would just tell them right straight to their face. Yeah. So Norman Lear wanted and instructed the costume designer to keep the series in sepia tones, just dull kind of, there were colors, but they're almost faded, in an attempt to make viewers feel like they were looking at an old family album. So we got some stuff in here. Chef says, do you remember that character of Beverly? Yes, I do remember Beverly. Well, I almost mentioned also the two characters of their Catholic Italian kind of friends, but I didn't. There's too many. Chef, thank you for the $10. That is absolutely spectacular of you. I very much appreciate that. I very much do. Sky says World Peace was probably a better sketch comedy series. What? I've never heard of that. Are you talking about Good Morning World? I don't understand what you're saying there, Sky. Team Brittany says, did they call you meathead as you walked by on the set? Well, no, they did not, but I wouldn't have been insulted if they had. I don't think. So All in the Family was the first major American series to be videotaped in front of a live studio audience. In the 1960s, most sitcoms had been filmed in a single camera format without audiences, with a laugh track simulating an audience being there. And at that time, videotaping was mainly reserved for news programming. Okay, they filmed everything. No videotape. They would also videotape variety shows as well. But Norman Lear employed the multi-camera format of shooting in front of an audience, but used tape, where other multi-camera shows like the Mary Tyler Moore Show had used film. And due to the success of All in the Family, videotaping sitcoms in front of an audience became a common format during the 70s onward until digital HD. The use of videotape also gave All in the Family the look and the feel of early live television, and including an original live broadcast of The Honeymooners, to which All in the Family is sometimes compared. It also gives that videotape feel of reality. You know, it's like you're watching something that's actually occurring rather than film, which is obviously, when you watch film, you know you're watching something that's been filmed. Let me see here. Chef says, get you some soup. This guy says, I got in late. Okay. Leon Kennedy says, World Peace is a modern show for internet. Cool guys, it's overrated. Haha. I don't know nothing about it. This is the first I've heard of it. I'm sure it's wonderful. Oh, by the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things you can do to, help out our little show and stuff. Just like the chef did here a couple of minutes ago. Thank you, chef. He's got the Christmas spirit. Team Brittany had the Christmas spirit the other day when she was in here, gifting like she was on a spree. It must have been digital, whatever. But Team Brittany, she is she's on one of these big shot law tuber moderation shows, as well as many other things. She's a busy lady. Anyway, so for the show's final season, the practice of being taped before a live audience changed to playing the already taped and edited show to an audience and recording their laughter. You see? And by the way, the end credits used to say, it was Rob Reiner's voice, All in the Family was recorded on tape before a live audience, to Carol O'Connor's voice saying, All in the Family was played to a studio audience for live responses. Typically, the audience was gathered for a taping of one day at a time, and they got to see All in the Family as a bonus. Yeah. Throughout its run, Norman Lear took great pride in the fact that canned laughter, a laugh track, was never used. Never used, and that all the laughter heard in the episodes was genuine. In fact, sometimes on All in the Family, the laugh reaction to something, like the famous Sammy Davis Jr. episode, the reaction, the laughter was so long, they had to cut some of the laughter out to keep the show under time. You know, it was that funny of a show. The series opening theme song, Those Were the Days, written by Lee Adams for lyrics, Charles Strauss music. It was presented in a way that was very unique for any TV series. Most of the time you'd have, even if you could tell it was the characters' voices, you'd hear them singing and you'd see shots of other things. All in the Family opened with Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton seated at a console or a spinet piano, which Gene Stapleton is playing, and they sing the song together on camera at the start of every episode, and then the audience claps. Now, the song dates back to the original pilot that was filmed 3 years earlier, Justice for All. Although, on that occasion, the two actors performed the song off camera at a very much faster tempo than the series version. You guys can win money at bars, I'm telling you. And Team Brittany says, I like the genuine laughter inside a comedy club. Yes, and it's real. It's natural. It's so much better. Now, if you guys want to make some side money over the holidays, betting people things, here's a little something for you. How you wheedle the money out of your friends and relatives, that's up to you. But 6 different performances of Those Were the Days were recorded over the run of the series, including one version that includes additional lyrics. The song is a simple song. It's got a pentatonic melody that can be played only with the black keys on a piano. And Archie and Edith, obviously, during the song, expressed their fondness for the past. A longer version of the song was released as a single on Atlantic Records, reaching number 43 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and number 30 on the Billboard Adult Contemporary chart in early 1972. That's how popular this show was. Additional lyrics in the longer version give the song more of a sense of sadness, and they also refer more directly to social and political changes taking place in the late 60s and early 70s. Now, if you're a music buff, I probably shouldn't go over this. This is nerd music stuff. And I say that nerd proudly. I am a nerd. There's a few perceptible drifts if you listen to each version chronologically. In the original version, the lyric, "Those Were the Days," is sung over the tonic, the root chord of the song's key, and the piano strikes a dominant seventh passing chord in transition to the next part, which is absent from subsequent versions, and I'm sure you're not really caring about that. Gene Stapleton originally struck a slightly sour note on purpose on the word, "and you knew when you were there," which prompted laughter from the live audience. And as seasons progressed, she delivered this note in an increasingly exaggerated shriek, which just made it funnier and funnier. Carol O'Connor's pronunciation of welfare state added more of Archie's trademark whining enunciation. And the closing lyrics, especially G.R. Ole LaSalle, ran great. I can tell you that lyric, even in my house, people were like, what are they saying? You couldn't really tell that well. Well, they were sung with an increasingly deliberate articulation. As viewers had complained, they couldn't understand the words. In the original version, the camera angle was shot slightly from the right side of the talent as opposed to the straight-on angle of the next version. And Gene Stapleton performed this theme song without glasses beginning in season 6. The rest of them, she wore glasses while she was ostensibly reading the music or something. Now, while Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton are singing, footage is also shown beginning with aerial shots of Manhattan and continuing to Queens, and you progressively zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in until you get to that right there. 704 Hauser Street, which is mentioned frequently throughout the show. Yeah, Archie Bunker here, 704 Hauser Street. So, you finally get that semi-attached home. It's the Bunker's house in Astoria, suggesting that the visit, you're getting closer, and that now you will be going inside. The house shown is actually located at 8970 Cooper Avenue in the Glendale section of Queens, New York. Now, one of the things, and I'll leave the visual up here for those watching on YouTube, there is a difference between this house and the All in the Family set, the inside of the Bunker house, if you will. The Cooper Avenue house, the outside, the thing you're looking at right now, Hauser Street, has no porch, while the Bunker's home features a front porch. And so, many of the people that watch the show were like, well, that house doesn't have a porch on it, and the one in the thing. That's because the footage for the opening had been shot back in 1968 for the pilot. And because of that, also, the establishing shot of the Manhattan skyline does not feature the World Trade Center towers, which hadn't been built yet. So when the actual series aired 2 years later, the Trade Center towers, although under construction, still had not risen enough to become a prominent feature on the skyline. That didn't happen until the end of 1971. But despite the change in the skyline in Manhattan, the original, somewhat grainy 1968 footage continued to be used for the series opening until the series became Archie Bunker's Place in 1979. And at that time, a new opening with current shots of the Manhattan skyline were used, with the Trade Center towers being seen in the closing credits. By the way, the opening format showing actual footage of the cities and neighborhoods, that became a standard format for most of Norm Lear's sitcoms, especially those in the All in the Family franchise, including Maude, Good Times, and The Jeffersons. At the end of the opening, the camera then returns to a last few seconds of Carol O'Connor as they finish the song. At the end of the original version, Edith smiles at Archie, and Archie smiles somewhere sort of off in the distance. The longest running version, the one that was used from season 2 to season 5, Edith smiles blissfully at Archie, and Archie puts a cigar in his mouth and returns sort of a sheepish look to Edith. I love that version, by the way. And then I love this one, too. This next one is great. Season 6 through 8, Edith smiles and then rests her chin on Archie's shoulder. Really a great way to start a show. In the final season, and this is a great one too, Edith hugs Archie at the conclusion. In the first 3 versions of the opening, Archie is seen wearing his classic trademark white shirt. In the final version of the opening for the series' 9th season, he's wearing a gray sweater jacket over the shirt. And in all of the versions, the conclusion of the song is accompanied by applause from the studio audience. A lot of people think that that opening was done for reasons of creativity or nostalgia. Norman Lear says, nope, it was a cost-cutting measure. The budget would not allow for an elaborate scene to serve as the sequence for the opening credits, so he decided just to have him singing at the piano. That's right. What do we got here in our chat room? Team Brittany says, I would run toward Vecna if I had that song in my ear. Cute. Chef says, great show, Tom. Thank you, Chef. Much appreciated, as well as your contribution. Let's see here. I mentioned the closing theme, Remembering You, played by its composer, Roger Kellaway, and he plays it, that sort of, it sounds to me like it's an old barroom saloon piano or something, but lyrics later added by Carol O'Connor, as I mentioned. It's played over footage of the same row of houses in Queens as the opening, but moving the opposite direction down the street and eventually moving back to aerial shots of Manhattan, suggested that your visit to the bunkers has concluded. And Carol O'Connor recorded a vocal onto Remembering You for a record album, but he performed it several times on TV appearances, and you can see those, and he does a great job, by the way. The lyrics about the end of a romance were never heard in the actual series. In July of 1986, vocalist Helen Merrill's increasingly jazz-flavored rendition, accompanied by a Kellaway-led trio introduced by Carol O'Connor, featured on The Merv Griffin Show, except for some brief instances in the first season. The show does not have any incidental or transitional music. Lear and his writers put the series in Queens, the Astoria neighborhood. Location of the bunker house at 704 Hauser Street is totally fictitious. No Hauser Street exists in Queens. The address is also not presented the way addresses are given in Queens. Most addresses numbers are hyphenated. So it's 8072 with a hyphen in the middle, identifying the number of the nearest cross street. Nevertheless, many episodes reveal that the bunkers live near major thoroughfares in that area, Northern Boulevard, etc. You can actually go to the house that still exists if you'd like to. It's 8970 Cooper Avenue, Glendale, Queens, New York, across from St. John's Cemetery. Real, actual Queens institutions are mentioned throughout the series. In fact, Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker, A Queens native from Forest Hills said in an interview with the American Archive of Television that he suggested to writers many of the locations to give the series authenticity. Archie's said to have attended Flushing High School, a real school in Flushing, Queens, although in another episode he was said to have attended another high school in nearby Long Island. But the writers of All in the Family continued throughout the series to have the Bunkers and other characters use telephone exchange names when giving the telephone number. Now, most people listening right now won't know what that is, but you may have seen it in old shows and stuff. You'd have Ravenswood 493 or something like, or Bayside. And those two exchanges, Ravenswood and Bayside, were used in the area that the Archie, that the All in the Family took place in. And all that was use the first two letters of the exchange in the front of the phone number. They did it just to kind of get people to be able to remember it easily. And it also gave a little tip of the hat to what area it might have been in. Okay? Most other of the series at the time, like the Mary Tyler Moore Show, were using the standard fictitious 555 telephone exchange when the Bell system was trying to discontinue those telephone exchange names. Okay? Basically, a telephone exchange name identified the switching system to which the telephone was connected. And it facilitated the connection of telephone calls between the switching systems that they had at the time. Actual residents of the Bunker's age, people that age, continued using exchange names into the early 80s, which is referred to in the 1979 episode, The Appendectomy, in which Edith gets confused between two versions of a number she's dialing. So anyway, I thought that was an interesting side note. They kept using the exchange numbers, and I have to admit, I had seen old phone books when I was a kid that had these exchange names and had explained to me you just use that letter for the number because old phones used to have a number and then three letters above the number. So anyway, I probably have talked way too long about that. Sammy's Visit, first broadcast in February of 1972, is a particularly memorable episode of All in the Family. All right. And that's for good reason. What do we got any more? Let me see here. Team Brittany says, Chef Leon Kennedy, Sky, Tom Gulley Show. Merry Christmas to everyone. Merry Christmas to you, Team Brittany. She says, OT, but the Stranger Things secret spy phone number revealed on the show on a piece of paper still works and still has the thing when you call. Hey now, off topic, but that's good information. Chef says, everyone say good afternoon, Gracie. Good afternoon, Gracie. And Merry Christmas to Team Brittany. And great, there's a whole bunch of TV shows that still have a number in the show that if you call it, because it costs nothing to keep a phone number alive and have a recorded something or other. So why not? I say more power to them. Sammy's Visit. First broadcast February 1972. It's a particularly notable episode of All in the Family. And I'm not going to reveal it, but the famous episode ending scene produced the longest sustained laughter in the history of the show. Excuse me. Sammy Davis Jr. plays himself. Archie is moonlighting as a cab driver. And Sammy Davis Jr. visits the Bunker home to retrieve a briefcase that he left in Archie's cab earlier that day. And so Sammy Davis Jr. has to sit there and talk with Archie and stuff. Archie lets him sit in his chair, very rare. And I'm not going to tell you what happened there. I don't want to ruin it for you, but it is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. During the show's sixth season, in December of 1975, 50 years ago, CBS began airing reruns on weekdays at 3 p.m. The show would later move to 3:30 p.m. and in September of 1978, 10 a.m. This lasted until 1979 when they put the show into distribution. So it was on during the day. Well, since the late 1980s, All in the Family has been on rerun on various cable and satellite networks, including TBS, who had the rights locally and nationally, TV Land, Nick at Night, Sundance TV. From January 3rd, 2011 to December 31st, 2017, the show aired on Antenna TV. As of January 1st, 2018, the show began to air on Get TV. And I don't know if you guys know this. These are those like sub channels, although they're on your streaming services as well sometimes. They're like, if you have a local NBC affiliate that's 5.1, 5.2 or 5.3 might be Get TV, Antenna TV, or as of January 2018, the show began to air on Get TV. Since February 5th of 2023, MeTV aired episodes of the show on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. All episodes have been airing nightly on the catchy comedy digital retro TV network, airing at, which used to be called Decades, by the way, airing weeknights at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. The cast of the show forfeited their residual rights for a cash payout early in the production run. Ow. All in the Family is one of 3 television shows, Cosby Show and the reality music competition American Idol being the others, that have been number 1 in the Nielsen ratings for 5 consecutive seasons. The show was in the top 10 for 7 of its 9 seasons. Just unheard of. And this is in the day of only 3 channels. Unheard of. The competition was very, very intense. Their first season, they were only ranked number 34. But remember, the summer reruns shot them to the top. And so 1971, 1972, 1973, 1974, and 1974, and 1975, they were number 1. All right, now dig this. That first season, they were on Tuesday nights, so no wonder nobody saw them. But they were moved after the success of those summer reruns to Saturdays, 8 to 8:30, okay? And on CBS. And this show bounced around a little bit. The 6th season, they were on Monday nights from 9 to 9:30. They still got a 30 rating. It's pretty, still number 1. They moved them again to Wednesdays, 9 to 9:30 on CBS for a while, and then Saturday, 9 to 9:30 on CBS. It was like a split season, and that took them down to number 12. They moved them to Sundays, 9 to 9:30 on CBS. They went back up to number 4, and then they moved them again the next season. Sundays, 9 to 9:30, and then halfway through the season, 8 to 8:30. And they moved to number 9. The series finale was seen by 40.2 million viewers. We talked about the spinoffs, one of which was Maude. It's a really good show. Good Times. Now, Good Times is considered by some to be a spinoff of Maude and therefore a spinoff of All in the Family. You know, I consider it to be that. But technically, Florida Evans from Maude and her back details and stuff aren't really... The name of her husband's different and stuff, but I consider it to be a spinoff. It's the same lady, it's the same character, it's just a few of the details have changed. The longest lasting spinoff was The Jeffersons, which aired for 11 seasons, more than All in the Family's 9 seasons. You know, Checking In was spun off from the Jeffersons and focused on their maid. It only lasted 4 weeks. Archie Bunker's Place was technically a spinoff, but it was just renamed All in the Family show. And it aired for 4 seasons. Gloria was a spinoff. Terrible. There was another show they tried in 1990s called 704 Hauser. And it was the Bunker's house with a new family, the Cumberbatches. It was a liberal black couple with a conservative son who's dating a Jewish woman. Gloria and Mike's son, Joey, now in his 20s, makes a brief appearance in the first episode. And after 5 episodes, it was canceled. There were some major specials about All in the Family. It's still very well loved. At the height of the show's popularity, during that 5 straight #1 season, Henry Fonda, Academy Award winner, Henry Fonda, 12 Angry Men, Henry Fonda, he hosted a special 1-hour retrospective of All in the Family and its impact on American television. It included clips from the show's most memorable episodes up to that time. It was titled Best of All in the Family, and it aired in, well, kids, guess what? It just so happens to have aired 51 years ago today. Coincidence? I don't think so. On February 16th, 1991, CBS aired a 90-minute retrospective All in the Family 20th anniversary special hosted by Norman Lear. It featured a compilation of clips and interviews with the 4 main cast members. It was so well received that CBS aired reruns of All of the Family during its summer schedule in 1991, garnering higher ratings than the new series scheduled next to it. Yeah. May 22nd, 2019, ABC broadcast live in front of a studio audience Norman Lear's All in the Family and the Jeffersons. And that wasn't even the network that aired the show. Sony Pictures, right, released the first 6 seasons of All in Family on DVD in Region 1 in 2002 to 2007. In 2010, Shout Factory announced that it had acquired the rights since released the remaining 3 seasons. Shout Factory in October of 2012 released All in the Family, the complete series, 28-disc box set, features all 208 episodes of the series, as well as bonus features. So there, if you want those. Cultural impact, I think I've probably have said enough about it. Let me see here. Oh my goodness. Team Brittany says, I have Better Call Saul in my phone. Yeah. She says, hate me if you want, but Cosby Show was one of the funniest shows ever made. Despite what transpired later with Bill Cosby, that was one heck of a nice show. It was. Team Brittany says, Dynamite. Dino Kid, Dynamite. Listen, the Cosby Show, it's like most shows, but there was a period of the Cosby Show where it was just on fire. It took it a while to get there, like most shows, but then there was that maybe 5-year period where every episode was just on fire. And then it tapered off. I think that the Cosby Show kind of lost steam more than All in the Family did at the end, for a variety of reasons. But it was still good. It was still a good show. And it's very important to remember, from programming standpoint, the people associated with the Cosby Show were much smarter than the people associated with All in the Family. If they had been smart, they would have anchored All in the Family into one spot that they picked and then built the shows that followed it and had those be like a power block, like NBC did with Must See TV and The Cosby Show. I mean, do you remember when it was that Must See TV night? anyway, that's my opinion. That's what I think. It's one of the most acclaimed shows, one of the most groundbreaking shows. I mean, I do not think. By the way, here's Archie and Lionel, which is always funny when Lionel's putting him on. No, I agree with you, Mr. Bunker. Stivic would be going, Lionel, no. I think he'd just be absolutely. Lionel didn't let Mr. Bunker bother him at all, and he was just sort of lampooning him all the time because he knew Archie wouldn't be smart enough to pick up on it. Anyway, you don't get your chairs in the Smithsonian if you're not one of the most acclaimed and groundbreaking programs. All in the Family has been referenced or parodied in countless other forms of media. The 70s Show, The Simpsons, Family Guy. Oh, I remember this very well. Popular T-shirts, button and bumper stickers showing Carol O'Connor's image and farcically promoting Archie Bunker for president appeared around the time of the 1972 presidential election. In 1998, All in the Family was honored on a 33-cent stamp by the U.S. Postal Service. Now, I had a jacket. I think it was a little like jean jacket. No, it was like a canvas jacket, zipper in the front, in 1972 when I was just a tiny going to school kid. And it had a patch on it. I think somebody might have given it to us, and my mom just went and sewed it on my thing. But it said, Archie Bunker for president, in 72. And then under that it said 1872, which I thought was funny. Even then, Archie and Edith, by the way, our family watched All in the Family every single, whatever night it was on. We did not miss it. It's really great. I'm going to watch some of it. It's when I do these TV shows, it's kind of tradition or just my weakness. I watch a bunch of it after the show. I talk about it and then I get all worked up and then I have to watch it afterwards. Archie and Edith's chairs, as you see, are on display in the National Speech Institute. No, they're actually on display in the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. The originals had been purchased by the show's set designer for a few dollars at a local Goodwill thrift store, and then they were subsequently given to the Smithsonian for an exhibit on American television history in 1978. It cost producers thousands of dollars to create replicas to replace the originals. Then U.S. President Richard Nixon can be heard discussing the show, specifically the 1971 episodes. Oh my gosh. There's a great episode where Mike writes a letter to the president that's very critical. Archie finds out about it and writes his own letter that's very supportive. It's so funny. It's called Writing the President. I think that one might be on YouTube. And Judging Books by Covers, one of the shows on the infamous Watergate tapes. Accolades in terms of other stuff. The Directors Guild of America 3 times awarded All in the Family Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Comedy Series. Paul Bogart twice, John Rich once for the pilot, Meet the Bunkers, John Bogart for Edith's 50th birthday, and for California, here we are, the Golden Globes. You want to hear about this, the Golden Globes? In its first season, it won Best Television Series, Music or Comedy, Best Actor in a Television Series, Music or Comedy, to Carol O'Connor. And also in its first season, Best Actress in a Television Series, Music or Comedy, went to, actually she was just nominated. Sorry. Gene Stapleton, Rob Reiner, and Sally Struthers were all nominated for Golden Globes, did not win. Let's see. Second year, they also won Best Television Series. Carol O'Connor, nominated, didn't win. Jean Stapleton, though, did win the Golden Globe for Best Actress that year. In 1973, for the third straight year, they won Best Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. Jean Stapleton repeated her award in Best Actress category. 1974, Best Supporting Actress went to Betty Garrett, who played, I think it was Fiona, the Catholic neighbor. 1975, they were nominated for a bunch of stuff, didn't win. 1976, nominated for a bunch of stuff, didn't win. 1977, they again won for Best Television Series, Music, or Comedy. Primetime Emmy Awards, oh boy. 1971, Outstanding Comedy, New Series, Outstanding New Series. Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series, Jean Stapleton. 1972, Outstanding Comedy Series. Outstanding Lead Actor, Carol O'Connor. Outstanding Lead Actress, Jean Stapleton. Outstanding Supporting Actress, Sally Struthers. Outstanding Directing for Comedy Series. Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series. Outstanding Achievement in Live or Tape Sound Mixing. 1973, Outstanding Comedy Series. Again, got the Emmy. Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series. Again, got the Emmy. 1974, Rob Reiner. Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy. 1977, Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series, Carol O'Connor. 1978, they had kind of a rebirth. Outstanding Comedy Series. And one of the people in charge of that writing was Milt Josephsberg, who actually was a writer for the old, what we call your Jack Benny show. Yeah. Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series, bam, Carol O'Connor. Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series, bam, Jean Stapleton. Outstanding Continuing Performance by a Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series, bam, Rob Reiner. Outstanding Directing in a Comedy Series, bam, Paul Bogart for Edith's 50th birthday. Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series, bam, bunch of guys for Cousin Liz, an episode called Cousin Liz. 1979, Carol O'Connor again wins Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. And Sally Struthers wins Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. We won't get into the Writers Guild of America Awards, which they won, and a bunch of other things. But I think I've talked about it enough. I think the time has come for me to release you all into the wilds so that you may watch. Oh, Team Brittany left. Wow, Dynamite. I see lots of episodes on YouTube. Nice. Yes, Team Brittany, if you're still here. A bunch of these episodes are on a channel called All in the Family. There's also a lot of great clips on a YouTube channel called The Norman Lear Effect. She says, see everyone, have a blessed Christmas. Oh, Team Brittany, we'll be on every day but Christmas. Sky says, thanks for the show, Tom. I haven't closed it, Sky. Stop leaving, people. I've got a thing. I'm going to play a song that Leon Kennedy created based on Sky, a show that I was on a couple of nights ago, and another show did a show about that. And it was when I was on someone else's program and had to tell them the hard truth about themselves. I may play 3 songs at the end of this. But this first one is about me sort of confronting a guy that needed to be confronting. And it's a Western song, but you might enjoy it. And then we'll play either Once You Go Gully and the Christmas song, or just the Christmas song. Hey, thanks to everyone for being here. I see the old clock on the wall, like the Reverend Al Green. I got to get up on it. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. I thank the chef for that lovely contribution. And again, PayPal, all the other stuff, it's in the description. We could really use the help. A little something for the effort. TheTomGulleyShow.com. bunch of other podcasts, our Podbean site, Apple Music, wherever you want to go. And tomorrow night, we will have, very important, the Reverend Bob Levy will be talking about, yes, It's a Wonderful Life with me. Leon Kennedy says, I hope you enjoy the new song, guys. It's pretty silly. Oh, Sky's here. He says he always stays for the outro. Good, good. Anyway, with all that being said, the only thing left to say is, I'm going to put this graphic up here just to kind of tease the song. The only thing left to say is, oh, criminy. There we go. The only thing left to say is, I got kind of, direct with a guy who needed it. And then Leon Kennedy did this song about it. Leon Kennedy will be on our program, what was it, the 29th, Leon? I do have a bunch of upcoming shows. Monday is Bob Levy, and It's a Wonderful Life. Tuesday is, don't tell me, it always comes to me. Tuesday is the show about the, Generation Jones. Wednesday is, man, why am I not remembering this order? Sorry, folks. I'm going to go ahead and actually tell you the proper order, because I've got like 5 or 6 shows lined up here. I'm not that great at closing the show sometimes. Come on, you lousy. All right, here we go. It's a Wonderful Levy is on Monday. Tuesday is about the Duesenberg, America's most luxurious car ever. Wednesday is about Generation Jones. We skip Christmas for Friday and the inexplicable disappearance of David Glenn Lewis. That Sunday will be Barney Miller, which was a request someone made on YouTube. Barney Miller, the TV show Barney Miller. All that being said, this is Leon Kennedy's wonderful depiction of me giving someone the business for a half an hour or so, and in a very calm way, I made them rage quit their own program. Yeah. So, till next time, we'll see you next time.
They said my name like it was wrong all through the sleeping town. They crossed the street when I came near, the day Tom Gulley shot me down. They called me shaman out of spite, their brutal honesty. The sun would set with one man dead the day Tom Gulley murdered me. I drank alone in the backroom bar, the air was thick and brown. I heard him enter without a word the day Tom Gulley shot me down. He looked at me, face motionless, I couldn't let things be. No jury trial, no case to make the day Tom Gulley murdered me. He stepped outside, I followed him, no smile, no looking round. He stood there calm as winter stone the day Tom Gulley put me down. We stood there in the open street the town had come to see. No cheers were heard, no one deterred the day Tom Gulley finished me. Our hands lay low upon our guns, the townsfolk watched the ground. No word was said, no tears shed the day Tom Gulley put me down. first the shot went wide, it shattered glass on me. One sound came back, it struck my chest the day Tom Gulley ended me. I lay there bleeding on the ground, death smiled a skull-stained brown. To hell he led, the dirt dark red, the day Tom Gulley gunned me down. Tom stood there calm with smoking gun, no triumph came to be. No rush, no rage, no fire inside the day Tom Gulley ended me. He turned away and took the road before the sun came down. No farewell said, no looking back, the day Tom Gulley left this town. The paper said that Clay was dead, no one mourned for me. Just ink and dates, a folded sheet, the day Tom Gulley ended me. They laid me out below the hill beneath a deadened tree. No marker set, no prayers said, the day Tom Gulley buried me.
Tom steps in shining, lifting spirits in the room. The wolf's already laughing with that friendly boom. Chef's in the kitchen, keeping everybody fed. Scott from Australia nods his bearded head. Rumpled trench coat enters with a mystery to unfold. Tom brings the warmth, turning every moment gold. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. When the world feels unsteady, Tom will get you ready. Once you go gully, you'll never recover fully. Tom puts on the show, let the good times roll. The wolf keeps up grooving with that easy midnight sway. Chef spins a ladle like when leading cabaret. Scott from Australia brings the thunder to the floor. Rumpled trench coat squints like he's seen this all before. Tom hits the rhythm and the whole room starts to move. Every single heartbeat falling deeper in the groove. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. When the world feels unsteady, Tom will get you ready. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. Tom puts on the show, let the good times roll. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. When the lights turn low, Tom keeps the moment bright, lifting every spirit as they dance into the night. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. When the world feels unsteady, Tom will get you ready. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. Tom puts on the show, let the good times roll. Once you go gully, you never recover fully. singing from the treetops, grooving deep within the wood. Frost is dancing on the pane, candles flicker in the lane, spiders sway with all 8 feet, keeping to that perfect beat, and Bigfoot hums that mellow tune underneath the winter moon. It's a very gully Christmas where the joy just rolls along, spiders tapping in the rafters, Bigfoot singing to the song. Oh yeah, very gully Christmas feels like magic.